So this is the first in a series of videos that I'm going to make for you to show you how to create centerline sections in Vectorworks. So let's get going. Make this guy get out of here. All right. The first thing we need to do before we get started is we need to do a couple housekeeping items. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to come up to the layer dialog box, and you need to make one layer, a new layer called scenery section. Okay, you can type it however you'd like, but you need to have a layer for scenery section. You want to keep the checkbox in the scenery. Okay, then what we need to do is you need to create a new drawing, a new Vectorworks drawing. Okay, and the drawing needs to be an 11 by 17 page with a scale of 1/4 inch equals 1 foot 0 inches. And you will eventually put a title block in, so you can do that as well if you'd like. So once you have that set, once you have this made, once you have the extra layer put in, we can get going. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to drag our mouse around. We're going to select the whole ground plan. We're not going to select the border and title block, but we're going to select the whole ground plan. And what I want you to do is I want you to select it and then come up to edit and then either Control C or hit copy. And this will take just a few seconds. And then what I want you to do is come back up to edit, and there's a button labeled paste in place. And what it's going to do, it's going to paste everything exactly on top of everything else. So we're going to do that, paste in place. Okay, and that takes a few seconds. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, now we have a copy of our ground plan selected. And what I want you to do is come up to the layer, and I want you to click on scenery section, and that's the layer that you made earlier. Okay, now you can deselect it. And so now we have two layers exactly the same, the scenery layer and the scenery section layer. What I'm going to have you do is then come up and I'm going to have you hide the scenery layer and then put the checkbox in the scenery section layer. Essentially what we're doing is we're making a copy of the scenery so we don't touch the original ground plan, because we're going to need that when we start working on the light plot project. So here we have a ground plan, and we have it in the scenery section layer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut our theater in half, and we're going to keep this half. We're going to keep the stage right half of the stage. So, and just a little bit about centerline sections. Centerline sections are very useful to help the lighting designer figure out angles. It's a good way to show a director, these are the different heights, these are the different, levels that you have. It's a really useful drawing, and that's why I'm having you do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to find this tool right here. It is split tool, and so we'll click on it, and what we're going to come up here to the mode bar, and we want to have the line trim mode selected. So we click on that, and now what we're going to do is we're going to click. We can use a center line because it's a centerline section. So we're going to click once, and then we're going to click on the end of the centerline section. And now do you see where the couch is? You can see the arrow pointing. Okay, what we're going to do is that arrow points to the stuff that you're going to keep. So we want to keep this stage right. So we're gonna select it and click. And there we've selected everything that ran through the center line has been cut in half now. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're just going to delete this stuff right here. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of this little C here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select this again, and we're going to come over to, and we're going to Control C or edit copy, and we're going to come over to our drawing that we created for our centerline section. I'm going to get rid of this guy, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this guy into the drawing, and it might take just a minute or so, a couple seconds. All right, here we go. So now we have this guy in, and what we want to do is we're going to rotate it. So I'm going to come over, use our rotate tool, and we're going to rotate it down like this. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring it up here. I will bring it up like this. And so what we need to do is we need to make sure it's in the right board, in the right layer. So I'm going to come and I'm going to make sure it's in the scenery layer. And the last thing I'm going to do in this video, okay, if it turns gray like this, don't worry. What you need to do is just come up to View, Layer Options, Show Snap Modify Others, and now everything pops back. And let's see what we're gonna. The only other thing we're gonna do now is we're going to. I'm gonna hide the border and title block, and we're going to make the scenery layer the current layer. So all right, so this is where we are in our project for creating a centerline section. We did some housekeeping, made some layers. We copied the ground plan layer, the scenic layer. We split it in half using this tool over here, the split tool. Copied it over, and we're going to take a break here, and I'll be back with probably the second of 3 parts for this project. Thanks.